Hi and welcome to Northants Wargamers on the Road. My name's Barry and today we're at Warhammer Fest 2019 for the Age of Sigmar Champions Final. It's between two of my club mates, Mike Kerslake on the left playing Arkhan Mortarch of Sacrement and Hamish Chisholm Brown on the right playing Chaos Rotigus Rainfather. Both these finalists play each other every week so they know each other really well. They also played each other during the Swiss rounds with Hamish taking the victory there. But whatever happens, Northants Wargamers are getting another event champion and another giant card, and this time in the shape of Frostlord Vogran Loshar. So this is how they're lining up against each other. Two Barrows White Kings, Arkhan Mortarch of Sacrement, Lord Executioner, with two Blood Reaver Chieftains, a Chaos Champion and Rotigus Rainfather. So the guys are just drawing up, and off we go. So, Rotigus will heal one, Fanatical Skull Fiends go into play and then he loses one, then Hamish draws a card. Off over to Mike. So Arkhan can't trigger because there's nothing in the bin. So with the Arkhan player, basically Mike is going to try and get units into the bin as fast as possible and then use Arkhan to pull them out at the beginning of his turn to start filling up his board. So goes in with a Spectral Grasp, so that's going to stop this Blood Reaver Chieftain opposite from questing quick. Mike then plays a Fuel the Gravetide to put 3 units into the discard pile. So he started to get units for Arkhan to start drawing. So in particular he likes the Mortarch Harbinger that you see on the bottom of those 3 cards. Because with that, essentially, he's going to be pulling 2 cards out the bin. So Mike's favourite tactic is to get 2 of those Mortarch Harbingers into the bin, pull one out with Arkhan, and then deploy the second using the Mortarch's ability, and then getting a third if possible. So Rotigus heals 1, and then the Skull Fiends deal 3 damage. 4 damage with Spectral Grasp. So Hamish still can't quest with the Blood Reaver Chieftain. So Mike's just checking his bin. He's getting ready for next 2 turns time. So fill up his hand. Hamish's go. Deals 1 to himself with the Fanatical Skull Fiends and heals 1 with the Rotigus Rainfather. Did it slightly in the wrong combination there because you're supposed to do champions before units. Nurgle's Rot. So 5 damage there. But it's going to reduce by 2 because of the Barrows White Lord. And then 2 damage from the last stand on those Fanatical Skull Fiends. And then in with an Insatiable Blood Reaver. So that Blood Reaver Chieftain at the far side is questing nicely. So Morghast Harbinger goes into play. It's going to drag a card out the bin. So Charging Black Knight. So really Mike's pulled that out. He's not really preventing any plays on the Chaos champion because Hamish is not really fussed about him at the minute. Frightful Strike, 3 damage, and Hamish has got to ditch a card because it's less cost than the Barrows White King. Heal 1 with Rotigus Rainfather, 3 damage to Mike through those Insatiable Blood Reavers, and then heals 2. So Bloodhunt gets rid of that Morghast Harbinger. Gaze and Nurgle, so Hamish is more than likely going to do 6 damage. There we go. And the Fearless Choreographs go into play to prevent the Arkhan triggering because he can't deploy under Arkhan. So he's stalled Arkhan for a turn. 2 damage from that Charging Black Knight. Doesn't get the extra effect because Hamish hasn't got a unit in front of it. So Frightful Strikes, another 3 damage. Hamish has to ditch the last card that's in his hand. So Mike's got the card advantage. He just can't capitalise with Arkhan to fill up his board. So draws to draw 1. Rotigus heals, deals 1 damage with the Fearless Corgraphs. So Hamish can't do a lot. So he's going to draw 2 cards. So Arkhan still can't trigger because of those Fearless Corgraths. So we've got a Thorns of the Briar Queen going in, 2 damage. Stops the stops that Blood Reaver Chieftain from rotating again. So heals 1 with Rotigus Rainfather. And then draws 2. So Mike's go. So here's where Arkhan's going to trigger. So we're going to see a Morghast Harbinger come out onto Arkhan. There we go. So, and another one. And then he'll trigger the Blessing. Hyper Snare Seed. So does 5 damage. And then gets to put another unit into play because of that second Morghast Harbinger. So he had an Infected Terrorgeist go in the bin earlier. So more than likely. So Infected Terrorgeist comes out. He has to ditch a card for that. So he hasn't discarded the card yet. Everything rotates and takes 5 damage in total. So I'm sure Mike will remember at some point to discard a card. So Curse Strike for 3. 1, 2, 3. There we go. And Serving Death, so he's going to trigger the Morghast and Thorns of the Briar Queen to do another 4 damage. So he didn't discard a card for the Infected Terrorgeist going into play. Hamish heals 1 with Rotigus and then deals 1 to himself with the Fanatical Skull Fiend. Yeah, Hamish should have really seen that trigger with the Infected Terrorgeist. So Hamish is just taking his time to work out what damage is coming his way. So next turn, Hamish is taking 5 damage. So he takes 3 from that Infected Terrorgeist up the top and then 1 each from those Harbingers. So it's whether or not what Hamish has pulled. Stuff with cards like Nurgle's Rot, Putrid Offering, he can certainly deal out some damage. But the Barrow's White King will reduce damage from units in that lane. Okay, so Hamish decides to draw a card. Mike's go, so 5 damage to Hamish. So Hamish is on 1. Depends what Mike's got in his hand. So he's got a Zombie Dragon, nothing to discard this time because he's got nothing in his hand, so he draws. So 1 damage from Rotigus because he's now engaged. 3 damage from the Skull Fiend. Then we've got Insatiable Blood Reaver going into play. Triggers a Last Stand on the Fanatical Skull Fiend, which was 2. And then Putrid Offering to do 2 damage from Putrid Offering. Then he's going to heal 2. And Expansive Gur will dormant all of Mike's champions. But Mike doesn't quest that quick. Everything spins. 6 damage. Mike's taken that game. He should have discarded a card when that Infected Terrorgeist goes into play. So game 2, this is how they line up. So we've got Arkhan, then 2 Barrows White Kings and a Lord Executioner. Then we've got Blood Reaver Chieftain, Chaos Champion, the second Blood Reaver Chieftain and Rotigus. So Mike's going first. So here we go. So Infected Terrorgeist goes into play. Mike should discard a card. Just remember that time. There we go. Second turn, Curse Strike. 3 damage. Hamish is going to heal 1 with Rotigus. And then deploys Fanatical Skull Fiend and takes a damage. So that Blood Reaver Chieftain is up and running. So Mortarch Grief, there we go. So deploys the Charging Black Knight, then it rotates, 2 damage. Zombie Dragon goes into play. Nothing to discard because he didn't have anything. So Hamish heals 1, then 3 damage from the Fanatical Skull Fiend. So with Arkhan being able to get that Charging Black Knight out pretty much when he wants to, Hamish is going to have to be really careful about that Blood Reaver Chieftain at the top. because yeah, Mike can just pull that out each time and just remove the unit. So 5 damage in total from the infected Terrorgeist and the zombie dragon. Mike passes, draws 2 cards. Hamish to go. So heals for 1 with Rotigus, takes 1 damage from the Skull Fiend, nothing from that Kerslake Skull Reaper at the top. So Nurgle's Rot, there we go, 5 damage from the by removing the Kerslake Skull Reaper, and then 2 damage from the Last Stand. And then Fearless Coregraphs go into play, 2 damage, and then stops Arkhan's ability. So 8 damage from the dragons that are out, 4 from the infected Terrorgeist and 4 from the zombie dragon. Okay, Fuel the Gravetide, gets rid of that Fearless Coregraph, and then Mike's going to fill up his bin. He's going to take one of those Mortarch Harbingers and pop them in. There we go, it's got another Charging Black Knight. I think the other one was a Feasting Vargeist. So then deploys the Zombie Dragon and discards another Harbinger. So 1 damage from Rotigus because he's now engaged. Skull Fiend does 3 damage. Furious Strike does 4 damage and reveals Unrivaled Battle Lust. So Hamish is going to do a ton of damage next turn. So 2 damage from the Insatiable Blood Reaver going into play because it triggers the Last Stand on that Fanatical Skull Fiend. So 2 damage from the Zombie Dragon. So Mike's passing and drawing. So what has Hamish got? So 6 damage from that Insatiable Blood Reaver down to 4. Heals 2 because of the Insatiable Blood Reaver. Would have healed 1 from Rotigus. Then the Blood Fury Wrathmonger goes in and does 5 damage. So well done, Hamish. He's pulled it back all down to the final 3rd game. So this is how they're lining up this time. Arkhan, 2-Barrowed White King and a Lord Executioner, with Blood Reaver Chieftain, Chaos Champion, Rotigus Rainfather and the 2nd Blood Reaver Chieftain. So Hamish starts on 31 and Mike starts on 30. So here we go. Good luck, everyone. Okay, Infected Terrorgeist goes into play. Frightful Strike does 3 damage. Mike still needs to discard a card, and Hamish needs to put 1 card back in his deck. So there we go. So Mike's remembered this time. He's discarded his Charging Black Knight. Gains 1 health from Rotigus Rainfather. So Mike has gained a health for some reason. I don't know why he's done that. So Grim Portents for Hamish. So he's going to look at 2 blessings and then he can switch positions. There we go. So now he knows what's under those 2. Rotigus doesn't actually quest that fast, but certainly the Blood Reaver Chieftain does. So off we go. So Insatiable Blood Reaver. First quest done on that Blood Reaver Chieftain. So Mike's passing and drawing for 2. Hamish is healing for 1. 3 damage to Mike. Gains 2 health from that Blood Reaver as well. So Arkhan, here we go. So 5 damage in total because the Charging Black Knight comes out and then rotates. 3 damage from that infected Terrorgeist. So, as always, I'll add in the comments section below all the links for Hamish's various podcasts, Twitch channel and YouTube channels that he has. So check those ones out. Mike deploys his Infected Terrorgeist, discards a card. So, follows up with a Curse Strike, dealing 3 damage. So, Rotigus should deal 1 damage. Then the Blood Fury Wrathmonger will deal another 2, and then he'll take another 1 from the Wrathmonger. So Blood Hunt, so just to play the trigger. So he's put dormant to all of Mike's Mike's champions with Expansive Gur. 4 damage in total from that infected Terrorgeist. So it's certainly going quicker. Rotigus does 1 damage. So 2 damage from the Wrathmonger and 1 damage to himself. So 2 more turns for the Expansive Gur. Nurgle's Rot goes off, 4 damage. and then draws a card. So everything rotates. Arkhan is dormant, so he doesn't get his trigger. So Hamish takes 3 damage from that infected Terrorgeist. That Barrow's White Lord should not have rotated because it was dormant. There we go. So Mike's just corrected that. So Mike passes and draws. 1 damage from Rotigus Rainfather because he's still got a unit opposite him. 1 damage to himself from Fanatical Skullfiend. 1 turn left for Dormant Champions for Mike, so that's why Arkhan hasn't triggered. 4 damage from the infected Terrorgeist. Hamish is down to 11. So we've got Fuel the Gravetide going in, gets rid of that Fanatical Skullfiend, fills up his bin and takes 2 damage from the last stand ability off of the Skullfiend. So the Morghast Harbinger's going in the bin. So Mike's setting up for a big deployment. Well, next turn he'll get 2 off at least anyway. So he's passing and drawing. Hamish's go. 1 damage from Rotigus Rainfather. So Hamish is just working out what Arkhan's going to be deploying next. So he's going to get a Morghast Harbinger and then one of the dragons maybe. Zombie dragons start dealing out damage, more damage faster than the infected Terrorgeist. So Hamish draws 2. So here we go, here goes Arkhan. So Morghast goes into play. So Zombie Dragon's going in, gets his quest. So gets 4 damage from Turmoil of Souls. Hamish should be putting 2 cards into the bin. So discards Devour because of the Zombie Dragon. So everything rotates, 3 damage. So Hamish has already taken that. He hasn't discarded his 2 cards. Another Morghast Harbinger goes into play. Pulls another card out of the bin. So it might be a second Zombie Dragon. No, charging Black Knight. And then cross from the grave, so he gets to rotate 2 units 1 step forward. So he can't kill Hamish, because the only champion it can play on is that Lord Executioner at the bottom. So there we go. So Harbinger and the charging Black Knight rotate. Hamish is down to 1. It's not looking good for Hamish. He's got to pull 16 damage out this turn. So 1 damage from Rotigus. 15 more to go. There we go. Gorslick Skull Reaper, 1 damage. Then we've got Putrid Offering. So 2 damage coming his way, followed by a last stand of 2 damage as well. So Hamish concedes. Well done, Mike. So Arkhan, Mortarch of Sacrement, has won. No longer are Chaos the kings of pitch battle. So well done, Mike. Congratulations. Like, subscribe, leave a comment below, and we'll see you soon. Goodbye.